A couple years ago, I lived at a house on the Swedish countryside, but I don't live there anymore, so to make sure I keep all my old memories, I'm recreating it inside of Minecraft. And first off, I'm doing some deforestation, so I actually have some space to build this thing. I just realized I need to clear out a 60 by 60 block area kind of to get this thing to scale, so there's a lot more clearing out to do. And after 3 hours of terraforming, I'm done, so let's start building this thing. So right here is where the house is gonna be, but you're gonna have to wait to see that, as I'm starting with the garden. And over here it's pretty easy, as I mainly just need to plant some birch trees. And while these trees are growing, I can build a wall right here, marking the edge of the garden. The garden also had some sheds, so let's mark out where these go. Wait a second, why is there so much lag right now? Is that possibly related to the current prank war on the server? Yeah, it is.
Nothing works correctly for me. I can't load chunks or anything.
The server is 44 seconds behind, so that does make sense.
I see a bunch of boats, and I see that there are two. I know what's gonna happen. Whoa! Oh, okay, that was so underwhelming though.
Yeah, those are some boats. I guess luckily the house I'm building is far enough away from that whole thing that I don't really experience any lag. So let's start building these sheds. I don't really think I planned this properly because this obviously doesn't work, so I'm gonna have to move this little shack over 1 block or so. And now that I've finished off the roof of these sheds— wait, no, hold on, don't you dare show them the other side. Why did I hire this editor? Oh, you're saying I'm the editor? Well, I guess that means I can just edit those roofs into existence then. Now for this shack, I remember it had 2 doors. I think they were like pretty dark colored, so let's go get some dark oak. And since I'm a normal person, I'll make sure to replant the tree. Okay, now doors. The inside here is looking awful, so we might want to fix that. And this should hopefully be better. Let's also add some lanterns as lighting. Actually, I changed my mind about the doors. Spruce doors are probably better. Yeah, these doors match the vibe way more. What on earth has happened over there? I think Walnutty's tree farm might have worked a little too well due to the prank war. This shed also had a little chimney, and with a campfire on top and trapdoors around. Yeah, that's good enough. I guess this also means we should have some kind of furnace in here, and I think the smoker works well for that. And yeah, this should be okay. I think for the rest of the interior, we can just place some barrels around and maybe some chests too, since, you know, sheds are mainly for storage. I think this shed is pretty much complete now, so moving on to the next one, as it was also kind of used for storage. First, let's also fix up the roof here. I kind of remember there being a wall separating this shed into 2, so let's build that. And yeah, this works well, because I think this part was kind of just left open. Let's also add some storage in here, and I don't know, maybe also some types of workstations. I just realized that both of these sheds are missing a floor, so possibly I kind of want to fix that. And that also means that I found a use for the dark oak that I didn't use earlier for the doors, so that's nice. And with these 2 sheds finished, the next one is pretty much the same, so let's just quickly get that done.
Have you seen my new copper shop?
Yeah, well, this shop is pretty cool. 32 copper blocks for 1 diamond, 27 stacks of rotten flesh for 1 diamond. How about I just buy all of this and leave it on the ground, because who needs rotten flesh? There you go, you earned 1 diamond, Gog.
Oh, thank you. What do you need rotten flesh for, anyways?
I just threw it on the ground and bought it for the
Okay.
joke.
Yeah, yeah, I see. Well, just in general, what use cases does it have?
I think it might be able to heal dogs.
The best use case, pretty much, I think, is that you can sell it to villagers for emeralds. To clerics, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Though I have a raid farm, so emeralds should not be an issue.
Yeah.
At least not until 1.21. Yeah, 1.21 is gonna seriously slow down my raid farm, so I'm gonna head over and farm some raids before the server updates. I seem to have forgotten this little shed also used to have like a tiny greenhouse type section right here. And plants in a greenhouse need light, so let's mine down this wall and replace it with some glass. Let's also gather up some spruce for the wall dividing the two parts of the shed right here. The small little greenhouse area obviously needs some greenery, so I'm just gonna place some dirt here and let it spread from the outside. And I'll also add some plants here, of course. Yeah, I think this is an acceptable recreation of the greenhouse we used to have in the shed. So now that the sheds are finished, I want to work a little on this edge of the garden, which was basically just some birch and spruce trees stuck together. And that, of course, was pretty straightforward, and while waiting for those trees to grow, I also replanted the trees I had cut down earlier to do the terraforming. Moving on to the west side of the garden, it was pretty much the same except for birch being switched out with oak. And the reason I spent so long time mining down and replanting this oak tree was that I remember the real life one being pretty large. So of course the recreation had to be a large oak tree too, but for some reason Minecraft just wouldn't grow me a large oak tree for like 15 minutes. But after finally getting a large oak tree, we can move on to some other details in the garden, such as this firewood storage shelter, which stored more than enough firewood to heat up the house during multiple Swedish winters. It was during the warmer months though that our pond served its purpose, adding a decorative touch to the garden and also supporting some of the area's wildlife. We often saw frogs or toads in the area, so I'm just gonna leave some tadpoles here and see what happens. Yeah, this frog won't stay here for long, and these ones have already escaped. I wonder what the other cookie crafters will think when they see frogs jumping around randomly in a plains biome. You're actually the only frog who stayed, so as a prize I think I'll let you stay here even longer. I also remember we had a beehive in the northeast corner of the garden, but we never actually used it, which is great because it means I don't have to go and get bees. And that only leaves us with a few more things we need to do before I can start building the actual house. Those things being to clean up the southern edge of the garden and adding the last few bits of greenery and other details. If you think anything here could have been built better, then you're probably right, but something to keep in mind is that I was a little limited by the fact I was trying to recreate something from real life as accurately as possible in a game with a limited amount of blocks. And after spending over 6 minutes of the video on the garden, I think we should build this house.